Not all adoptees are placed at birth, yet the secrets are still imposed upon them. Even adoptees old enough to remember their original family have their records sealed, as if their life before did not belong to them. For these individuals, even the smallest mementos can provide a powerful connection.
When I saw my original birth certificate, it said that I was born in a small farming town to an Irish couple, which essentially couldn't be further from the truth, given that I was born in a big metropolitan area, a city, to an African-American mom. Things that other people take for granted, knowing when they were born, what time of the day, how much they weighed. I remember, people talking about those things and how of little significance it was to them, but it was of great significance to me to be able to know that information. I don't know when this one is. Here's me, my older brother Adam. I believe this was our second failed adoption. I was a ham, and Adam, he has always been the wind beneath my wings. He remembers being in the backseat of the car as the car drove away and looking out the back window, at birth mom. Then we went through, my brother and I, a number of failed adoptions and foster care placements, and finally were adopted when I was 4.5, and my brother 6.5. I remember mom saying, that psychologically he never unpacked his bags. So I remember, we were a conspicuous family. Everywhere we went, people stared at us. And this is the earliest photo that I have of me, and it's the only earliest photo that I have of me. It's when my first boy turned 13 months old. 13 months was the age that I was given up for adoption. And so I can remember walking past the mirror. I'm holding him, and he was sleeping, and I just happened to catch myself in the mirror, and I just cried. I just held him because I imagined giving him up, and it was just like, wow.
Not only is Robert unable to have any records of his birth, he has no records of his early childhood, except his older brother had this Xerox a social worker took of his hand.
And I said, Adam, what is this? And he said, that's our birth information. And I was like, wow, I never knew you had that. And there was so little documentation that was really us. There was so little of anything, of any evidence of having a former life. Here's my hand, here am I, It was a piece of a missing puzzle. Secrets don't help people. Secrets capture people. People are then really, they're bound by the secret. The fear that's part of the secret is larger and has more energy than the secret itself. All parents probably appreciate their kids. For me, I think there's an added appreciation because of the adoption experience. I value the connections. I don't want to have big question marks for my kids when they think about where they have come from. I don't want to have roadblocks or unanswered questions. When my kids were born and they went in and put their footprints and on the paper, that was so huge for me. Those weren't mine. Those were my children's. And I had a duty and a responsibility to make sure that those things were done, that they received the documentation, they received the evidence, they received the I am here, papers. I have taken a copy of my children's and on the photocopy machine, and they do it, I don't know, a couple times a year, I suppose. I have one hanging in my office right above my desk, and it's just another piece of the puzzle. Putting my identity together, and having kids for me is so important to be able to have that identity put together and that puzzle completed for them, because it's a beautiful portrait.